It's that she go, no, she on the flow. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's that
Then be ready to answer my questions then. Okay. So let us make a example simple to discuss few conclusions with respect to this and a super. Class A, class B extends A. Inherited, right? Okay, inherited. Didn't write anything over here. Just wanted to keep the things simple. Right. So now my question is, say for example, if you have a one second, right? If you have a constructor over here, if you have constructor over here, system dot out dot println, this is from a object A, that means constructor A, right? Now with respect to class B, with respect to class B, I will write void m1, void m1. Within this particular void m1, can I call something like this? Is it feasible? Can we write something like this? Creating object is a secondary. First question, can we write something like this? Is it feasible to write? Can I call, what does this particular super says? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
What I am doing now, I am calling a parent constructor from a method. I am calling parent constructor from the method. Is it feasible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Can we call?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Shall we just cross check what might be the output of this one if I am creating object of a class B, right? B object is equal to new B. What is the expected output? Can I just see the answers in the chat box? I need to call a method called a m1, right? Obj dot m1, right? Now, what might be the expected answer if I am writing a statement something like this? Shaifullah, void in the sense, I'm asking output. What might be the output? Will it see? You are creating object of a B. Okay, so we said that when an object of a B has been created, then a first constructor of A need to be executed, right? When a constructor of A is executed, A will be printed once. Then when I calling a method m1, again you are calling a default constructor. Will it print a one time or two times? Because you are calling a method also.
2 times.
2 times A, right? Shall we just cross check? Yes. See, each and every variation, whatever we are going to do in this session, everything is a one of a conclusions, right? So keep all those conclusions in mind and look at what is the output of this. What it is saying. Error. Call to super must be first statement in constructor. Be clear with whatever the error it is showing. Whatever error it is showing, that is the important conclusion that we need to discuss, right? So what is the error? Call to super must be first statement in a constructor super, right? So what it is saying is call to super must be a first statement in constructor. Are we writing a super in a constructor? Are we writing a super statement in a constructor? No, we are not writing in a constructor. We are writing that one in a method.
Method. Yes, sir.
Right? So what is the conclusion now? You cannot write a super constructor, that particular function inside a method. That should be the part of a constructor only. Right? So according to a conclusion, what does it means now is, if you had any constructor, something like this, right? So from this constructor, you can call the super. Right? So now it is a part of a constructor itself, right? Correct. So now let me do one more small modification system dot out dot println, this is from a B, right? So now what should be the output? Yes, we said that a super should be a part of a constructor, so we have written in a constructor. What will be output now? You are creating object of a B. When you are creating object of B, constructor of a B will be called. Before executing a constructor of a B, constructor A should be executed, A will be printed, then will it come to a B. How what is the output? A B
A and B.
Okay, so first this constructor will be executed, then a B constructor will be printing this particular statement, then a super will be called, and again A will be printed, right? So according to a Dan's statement, Dan's output, what he said like a first A, then B, super will be called, then A will be printed, right? And Jagdish is saying it will be printing a error, right? So let us just look it into a previous error statement, whatever it has shown us. Call to super must be first statement in constructor. Call to super must be first statement in a constructor. Did we write it as a first statement in constructor? First we have written system.out.println, then we wrote this particular super. Let us just check what might be the output. One second, I executed some other program. Same error it is showing. Call to a super must be a first statement in constructor. Now let me just remove this particular statement and let me keep it as the second statement. Now whether we have satisfied all the statements, super is the first keyword, right? So the second statement is a system.out.println. Okay, we are not writing a super constructor in any method, rather we are writing it in a constructor itself, right? So now let us just cross check and see what will be the output. No error shown, right? Clear, right? So in the last class I told you, even though if you are not writing a super, implicitly it will be executing a super class constructor, then only it will be going to child class, right? So the important point which we need to remember is your super constructor. This is nothing but a super constructor. Okay, so this particular super constructor need to be written only in a constructor but not in a method. This is the first conclusion, right? And when you are writing a super constructor, then a super constructor should be the first statement in the constructor. Super constructor should be the first statement in a constructor, right? If you are not writing it in a first, then you will be getting a compile time error itself. It will not go to a runtime also. Clear with these conclusions? Right. So let me give you a small differentiation between a few functions and variables. One second. We need to have a clear picture about super constructor, this constructor, super variable, and this variable. I can say these things as objects rather than a variables, right? If I am writing a normal super, if I am writing normal super, right, without a parenthesis, then I am talking about the variables and the methods of my parent class. Be clear with each and every statement. If you have any confusions with respect to any of the statement, you can stop me and ask for the explanation, right? So what I'm saying is, if I am writing just a super, right, so then this particular super keyword or object is used to refer parent class instance variables and methods, right? Now if I am talking anything with respect to a present class, that is child class, or whichever is the current class, right? So then I'll be using the this keyword, right? So this keyword refers to present class instance variable and methods, right? This keyword will talk about present class instance variable and the methods. Similarly, if you are talking about a super constructor, right, it refers to parent constructor, right, need to be written in constructor, right, and it should be is that clear? If I am talking about this constructor, right, refers to present constructor, right, again same statements remain, need to be written in a constructor, and even this should be the first statement with respect to the constructor. And most of the times you will not be using this particular notation. It's a very rarely used kind of a program, very rarely used constructor. If you want to refer to a present constructor, if you want to call the present constructor explicitly, then only you will be using this keyword. Again we have a restriction saying that, and this keyword need to be placed, this particular constructor need to be placed in a constructor itself, right? Any questions with respect to these four aspects: super keyword, this keyword, super constructor, and this constructor? See, let me keep things simple. I'll just give you overview of what exactly the topics we discussed with respect to inheritance. The concept of inheritance comes when you want to inherit the properties from a parent class to a child class, right? We said that we will be using a keyword called extends to extend all the properties of your parent to a child, right? When I said a parent is there, child is there, then you have a two different classes, right? When you have a two different classes, there might be a necessity where you need to travel between those two classes, right? There will be a necessity where you need to access some variables of a parent and some variables of your child, right? So there will be always a necessity such that sometimes you want to refer to the methods or instance variables of a parents, and sometimes you want to refer to a present current class instance variables or a present current method instance variable methods, right? When you had a two classes, when there is a requirement of a interchange, so means seamlessly communicating with respect to a variables of both the classes, then the picture of a super and a this will come. Super talks about a super class, this talks about a child class, right? If you want to call a super constructor, so means constructors of a super class, then use a super constructor. If you want to call explicitly about a current constructor, call it this particular, right? If you want to refer to a instance variables of a parent, then use a super dot variable. If you want to use a instance methods of a super class, then you specify super dot whatever the method you want to use. Shall we proceed further? Yes, right. Now we need to discuss one more keyword which is called as final. What is the final, right? Now we have seen inheritance concept, and we have said that in one particular class, if you have a method m1, and in a child class also if you have a m1, then we said that method overriding will occur, right? What I mean to say is, if you have a class A, in this class A you wrote some method called a m1, there is a definition for a m1 written, right? When a class B extends A, and here also if I define m1, then obviously there will be a method overriding, correct? Yes. In a similar fashion, say for example, here if you have some variable called a int x is equal to 10, right? Now here also I can have a something called a int x is equal to 20. Feasibility is there, right? When it comes here, whatever a 10 was there previously, now a 10 will not be available with respect to this particular scope, rather you will be having a 20 with respect to x. This we have seen with respect to example also, right? If my requirement is such that I don't want this modification need to be happened, right? So what I mean to say, I don't want this particular m1 method to be overridden. I don't want this method m1 to be overridden. I'll say like whatever definition I have given, you have to follow only that particular definition, right? See, you will be telling like m1, yes, I have defined a one particular m1. If a class B is extending that particular m1, it should not override that particular instruction. By mistake, if a class B is writing a few instructions, then it is overridden, right? If you want to avoid a overriding of a methods, if you want to avoid the overriding of a variables or an instance variable, then you will be using a keyword called as final, right? So once you make a something as a final, it cannot be overridden. That means the values cannot be changed, right? And there is a lot of a difference between a static and a final. You should be very clear. Okay, static, when you are saying it is shifting to a class level, that means there is only one existence of that particular value and it is to a class level, static. But a final is a normal variable itself, but you are not allowed to change its value, right? So now if I am making a method as final void m1, if I am making a final void m1, then when it extends, when a class B extends a class A, this m1 will be available, but a class B cannot override that particular m1. Is this clear? Shall we see an example of this one quickly? Void m1. If you want, then only I will go with the example. If you are okay with the explanation, whatever I have given, then no issues. System.out.println, right? So let me make this particular method as a final. Extends A. Is this a method overriding now? Did we do all the things perfectly? Class A is having a method m1. Class A is having a method m1 and which is a final. Your class B is extending class A. Again, you are giving a definition for a m1, right? So you are trying to override a method called a m1, which is already made as a final, right? So let us just cross check what happens if you are overriding a method m1 which is made as final. Error m1 in B. See, it is showing a class also. M1 in B cannot override M1 in A, right? So overridden method is final. So this is what the error it will show if you are trying to override a method which has been declared as a final. Is that clear? Understood a keyword called a final? Didn't understood?
No, sir.
Did you understood a method overriding?
Yeah, up to here.
Yeah. Is this a method overriding? This M1 now has got two definitions. One definition in a class A and another definition in a class B. Right? If I'm executing this particular program, then this definition of a high will be shown. Right? So what we said in the last class is, once you are writing a same method again, which is matching with the signature also, we said that the previous definition will be erased. That means it will be, this class B will be overriding a previous definition, and now it will be giving a new definition. This is what we said with respect to overriding. Overriding in the sense, don't worry about the previous definition, remove that particular definition or instructions whatever I have given with respect to method. Now you consider the new instructions whatever I am giving with respect to the method, right? So now what happens in this case is, the previous definition of a M1 will be neglected or overridden with a new definition of this particular M1. This is method overriding, right? If you don't want this method overriding need to be done, then make a method M1 as a final, right? So once you make a particular method as a final, the child class whichever inherits all these methods, now the child class cannot give a new definition for already given a definitions of a M1, or for the definitions which are already given by a class A. Now the child class cannot give a new definitions when it is made as a final. That means when the method has been made as a final, your class B cannot give a new definition for this particular M1. That means I am avoiding that particular M1 to be overridden by my class B. Still confusing?
Yes, sir.
Let me give you one example, such that say for example, your university has set some rules, right? Say for example, university has a set of rule saying that if you want to attend a classes, then a 85% of attendance is a must. That is the rule given by the university, right? 85% of attendance is a must, right? Now when a department is extending a university, all these rules will come to this department also, right? So now whoever a person enrolls to this particular department, whoever belong to that particular university, for everybody percentage of 85% will be a common. That means they need to maintain that particular 85% of attendance to attend the examination, right? Now later, after some time, the department circulates one more regulation saying that, okay, if you don't have a 85% of attendance, we will push your attendance for based on the medical reasons and all, then we will make it as a 85 and then we will allow you for the examination, right? So these things usually they will do, right? So now what I'm saying is, whether a department has given a new definition for that particular rule, M1, right? They made it as a 85. Now these people are giving a one more definition saying that, okay, even if you don't have, let it be, we will make it somehow, we will do some alterations and we will make it done with respect to 85, right? So now what I'm saying is, there is some definition with respect to university and the department has given one more definition now, right? So this is called as overriding. That means whatever the rules given by a university, now you are not following that one, but whatever the definition given by a department, that you are following, right? When university feels that I don't want these modifications to be done, right? When university feels that I don't want all these things need to be done, right? So no changes need to be done with respect to this particular rule. What a university will do is, that particular monitoring of attendance, it will take a directly means it won't give authority to a department people. It will tell like, daily attendance you enter in a portal, I will only monitor the things, right? So now there will be only one copy of attendance. That means a method has made as a final in the sense, only that particular class A, that is this university class has got this particular method, your child cannot have this particular method now, right? So when a child cannot have this particular method, obviously it cannot give any new definitions for it, right? So intention of making a final is you don't want that particular method to be modified by the child, right? When you have such a methods where you don't want your child to do the modification, you make those methods as a final methods, right? So when a method as a made as a final, overriding cannot be done. That means the child which is accessing that particular method cannot perform any modifications on it. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Understood, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
In a class, there might be n number of methods, right? When you are extending that particular class, all those methods will be available for a child. Now, if you feel like few methods, I don't want to allow my child to modify, right? Only for those methods, you can put it as a final so that your child will not modify those particular methods. It will just follow whatever the instructions have been given with respect to parent. Clear? Understood the
Yes,
keyword called a final, right?
yes,
So in this session, we have discussed the most important keywords. The first one, what we have discussed is a super constructor. Then we gave a small intro of this constructor, super keyword, and this keyword, and then fine. Right? Any questions with respect to these 5 structures like keywords, functions, constructors, everything is there. If you have any questions with respect to these 5, you can ask those questions and be clear with when to use what and where to use what. When to use what means when to go with a super constructor, when to go with a super keyword, when to go with this keyword, and when to go with this constructor. And I told you this constructor is very rarely used constructor. And final is when you don't want to change the values of a particular thing, then you will be making it as the final. Sir, what about if we make class final? Is it possible to inherit? See, with respect to a class level, you cannot give it as a final, right? So this we have discussed in the last class. For the class, you can give only 2 modifiers. One is a public and another one is a default. Default means not specifying anything, right? Apart from a public or a default, you cannot give anything else for the class. Brahan, did I answer your question? You cannot make a class as a final. For the class, either you can make it as a class as a public, or you cannot give anything. So means just a default class. Only these 2 things are possible with respect to a class. If no questions, I have to discuss a small topic very fast. If you don't have a question, then I'll proceed. Sir, can you show the output with using a final? See, with using a final means if we are getting error, then it is meeting our requirement, right? So what is the purpose of a final? Final in the sense, you should not allow that particular method to be overridden, right? When it was showing error, then that is our output. It should show the error. It should not allow the method to be overridden, right? Final is nothing but putting a restriction for overriding. Okay, so shall we discuss one more small topic now? Answer my questions very fast so that we will finish up the things, right? In a class A, I have a method M1. In a class B, I have a method M2. Yes, super fine, simple program, right? Now, when I am creating an object, right? Is this a proper way of calling the methods and all? Now, according to instructions, whatever I have written, does the program will show any errors? class A is having a method m1 and a class B is having a m2. So I have created object of a class B and a calling a m2. No problem, works fine. Even I can call a method m1 also because I am extending this particular class. Everything is working fine, right? No problems with respect to the things, right? Yes. Now, if I am creating a object of a class A, right? Can I call a method m1? Yes, no problem, because that method belongs to a class A itself. You can easily call that particular method m1. No problem. Can I call a method m2? Can I
No.
call a method m2? No, because this particular method belongs to a class B, and you cannot, a parent class cannot access the methods of a child class, right? So these are the things which we have discussed already. Now, say for example, I'm not creating an object in this particular fashion, right? So what I'm doing is I'm creating an object, I'm referring to a same kind of a class, right? So what does it mean is, say for example, if I am writing new A, am I creating object of a class A? Yes, you are creating object of a class A. What you are doing later, this object, whichever you have created, you are referring to a same data type. That means same type of object you have created. Whatever object has been created, you are referring to that particular object by this name, right? I'm just explaining how that particular statement will work, right? So let me repeat a statement once for the clarity. If I am writing something like this, right? Am I creating object of a class A? Yes, I am creating object of a class A. To point to this particular object, I have to point, right? So if I'm creating object A, then there is an object created with a m1, but I don't have a reference for that. That means I don't have a connection for that to call, right? So what I will be doing is I will be pointing this particular object created with a name called a obj, right? This is how the new keyword will allocate object and it will assign to this particular reference variable, right? Now, say for example, I don't want to do in this particular fashion. What I wanted to do is something like this. I have created, okay, I have created new object B, right? Is it creating object for a class B? Yes, object for a class B. Can I equate this particular object to a? Object B is created. When I say object B is created, what all the things I will be having with respect to a B, right? When I say object B is created, right? So there is some object B created. Yes. What all the things that will be there in a object B? It can have access for m1 because this method has come from a class A. I can have access to m2 because you are creating object of a class B, right? So class B will be having the object which has been created using the class B will be having m1 and m2 with it, right? So now what I am doing is I am referring to this particular object, right, by the reference of A, right? So what is the name given for that? OBJ. Correct. So my question, can we create something like this, right? So let me repeat a statement. I am creating a child class object. I am creating a child class object and referring that particular child class object by using parent class reference, right? Parent class reference is used to point to a child class object. Wow, what a beautiful statement. Right? So what is the statement? Parent class reference is used to point to the child class object. Can it be done or not? Can it be? Yes or no? No problem. We will cross check. Yes. You are clear with the statement, right? What was the statement? Parent class reference is used to point child class object. Yes. Now consider that this is true. That means can be done, right? So when it can be done, can I call obj.m1? Can I call obj.m1? Yes, you can call. What is the problem in that? Because even that is a local method for a class A, can be called. Okay. Can I call obj.m2?
Yes.
Can we call? M1 can be called because that is a local method of A also, no problem in that. Right? So can we call a M2 also? Let us just cross check. Why to worry? We have a program, we have written all the statements. What is the problem then? What is the error it is showing? Error, cannot find a symbol called a M2. Right? Is it showing any error with respect to M1? No, it is not showing any error with respect to M1. Right? So, this conclusion, let me split. I came to a conclusion, one conclusion, let me split. I'm just cross checking whether this particular creation is valid or not. That means a parent class object, that means a parent class reference, can it point to a child class object or not? Just I wanted to confirm. Calling a method is a secondary. Let me just confirm whether a creation of a thing, something like this is a feasible or not. Right, compiled fine, it is showing us some exception, no problem in that, but compilation is fine, no problem. Right, so what is the conclusion? You can use parent class reference to point to a child class object, right? But the condition is, by using a parent class reference, you can just access its method, not a child specific method. Right? What is the conclusion is, you can have parent class reference object to point to a child class object. That is the one conclusion. Second conclusion, yes, this is a feasible, but using a parent class object, you can only call parent methods but not a child methods. Clear with the conclusions?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Shall we just reverse this particular statements? Reverse statements means I have created parent class object. Parent class object has been created. I am trying to equate this one by using a child class reference. Right? Child class reference, can it point to a parent class object? Let me just
No.
cross check.
No, it's possible.
Let us just cross check whether this is possible or not. See, it is saying incompatible types. A cannot be converted to B, right? So what is the conclusion drawn is, your child class object cannot point to parent class, means child class reference cannot point to your parent class object. Whereas parent class reference can point to a child class object, but it can access only parent specific methods but not a child methods. Does the conclusion is clear? Now,
Yes, sir.
a small assignment for you people today. From the slides, you have to do a small thing. Till abstract classes, that is till slide number 105, leave about a dynamic method dispatch, till slide number 104, right? You have to go through all the topics from the starting of inheritance till a slide number 105. If you have any questions, you make a note of those questions. tomorrow you have a 2 hours for a Java. So during that particular session, first we will discuss your doubts. If you don't have a doubts, then only we will go with the abstract classes. Right? So go through the recordings first, understand each and every conclusions, whatever we have drawn, then only go to examples, whatever has been specified in a slide. Right? I try to combine things and try to give a explanation by comparing things. So go through the video once again. You will get a fair idea about what are the things we have discussed. Go through the points in the slide. I feel you will understand each and everything, whatever has been put in the slide. If you have any questions, you can post.
Sir, what is the need to make the child class object with the parent class reference? Why do we need it?
See, instead of discussing about a need, we are just checking the possibilities. That means what is the possibility is there, how can we go with this one? Is it a possibility, is there any possibility of referring things in that particular fashion? That was the question. We are just checking the flexibilities, whether it is flexible to create in this particular fashion or not.
Okay, sir.
Say for example, if you had a requirement, something like say you had a object of a class A, and from the A means let me put the things in a different fashion. Say for example, you will be having a int and a float data types, right? Integer and a float data type. Int A is equal to some 10 and float B is equal to some 20. So these are the initial values. Now whether a B has been assigned with a 20, can I call it as an integer number? Right? What you are doing, integer, is it a lower order data type when compared to float? Right? Even though when it is a lower order data type, you are assigning that one to a higher order data type, which is called as a float. Now if I argue with you saying that why you are writing it as a 20, why don't you write it as a 20.0 only? Right? Okay, I can write it as a 20.0, but what if I'm writing a 20, can't it take it directly considering it as a 20.0? Yes, it has to take, because if it is taking in that particular fashion, then only flexibility will be given for us. Right? So the same thing will happen with respect to your child and the parent classes also. If I consider your float, which is a bigger data type, I will consider this one as a parent, right? So now for a parent object, you can assign some child objects. Means for a parent reference, right? Let me call it as a reference only. For a parent reference, you can assign a child class value. No problem. That means for a float data type, which is a bigger one, you can assign some small values. But a vice versa is not feasible. That means if I consider this one as a child reference, right, I cannot add some parent class value for this. Right? So we are just considering that parent is nothing but a bigger one and a child is nothing but a smaller one. Okay? So parent, so means using a parent class reference, you can hold a child class object, but by creating a child class object, you cannot refer to a parent class values. Right? So that is the rule, or that is the what I mean to say, the flexibility which we need to remember. That's it.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? obj.m1 is valid. obj.m2, it will show you an error. No questions? Can I wind up a session then? Thanks for your time. Have a nice day. Bye bye.